Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of James's House of Rock. Today, we have a wonderful guest, Elizabeth Bond. Yay! All right, so we're going to go right into the interview here, and we'll start with a simple or hard, depending on how you think about it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, music-wise, I started like really early. My parents signed me up for like piano lessons and stuff like that, and then I found out that I like wasn't tone deaf, so they were like, "Oh, let's like put you in like a children's choir thing." So I did that for like a few years and took private lessons, and I was like, you know what, I don't really like this. And then I found the Real School of Music, and then from there I learned how to play guitar, and then I started playing in like different ensembles there and like going to venues and playing at like farmers markets and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much.
So who were your biggest influences when you started into music?
When I started into music, honestly, it was just like anybody who was on the radio when I first started. Yeah, it was just like Kelly Clarkson, Taylor Swift, like all those, artists like little kids really enjoy. So when I first started playing guitar, that was like mostly what I was doing. So I'm like very comfortable with like chords and bar chords and all that stuff. So over the past few years, I've always been trying to like develop like skills with like playing metal, because like that's what I like now. So yeah.
So when you first started to perform, like how did it feel? What kind of stuff did you have to get over to like get up on that stage?
The first time I ever performed at the Real School of Music, I got up on stage and I forgot all the words to my song, and I still kind of have an issue with that. It wasn't an issue for a long time. Like I was able to memorize it and have no problem, but when something's like very wordy, like no matter how well I know it, I always like freak out when I go on stage because I'm just afraid I'm gonna forget everything and then the whole thing is just a complete disaster. Like most recently, I played Time Bomb by Rancid, and I know that song so well, like so well, and yeah, like halfway through it, I just forgot what the verse was, like what it started with. And then luckily, my guitar teacher in the audience like gave me like the first two words, and I was like, yes, that's it. And then I started playing it again. But yeah, I always kind of have to have something in front of me, so because I get really freaked out. But I'm still trying to figure out how to get into like the right headspace so like I don't just completely blank, because that happens a lot.
Yeah. So what was the first song you did perform that you forgot all the words to?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I think it was like something by Ella Fitzgerald.
All right.
Yeah, my mom was like, "Oh, this is like such a cute song." I was like, "Just sing it," and I was like, "Okay."
So when you do have like a performance, like what do you do to get ready? Because I know like a lot of musicians have like a list of things they have to do to get themselves like hyped up or whatever it is.
I don't know. I don't try to like warm up like a ton, because I don't want to like overdo it and then just kind of not sound good. So I usually just do like trills and just do like minimal like warm ups, and then I maybe go through the song like one or two times. Like especially if I don't have music up with me, because the more I repeat something, the more I just get confused with the lyrics. So yeah, I just kind of go through the songs like once or twice, and then just do a little bit of warming up, and then I'm like, I'm ready.
So what are like the main artists or bands that you listen to now?
Right now, I'm listening to a lot of Skeleton Witch.
All right.
I've been listening to like Beyond the Permafrost. It's really good. Devouring Radiant Light is their newest album, and it's really good. It's really good. They're like a weird mix of like thrash metal and death metal, but I'm also like getting into like another genre where it's like a weird mix of like indie and R&B. So like there's like this artist called like Home Shake. Like Still Woozy is pretty cool, and then I just have a bunch of like other random songs that are just like in the genre. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to.
So I know largely you've moved on from like the performing as a singer-songwriter on stage kind of thing, but would it ever be something you'd be interested in doing again?
I think so. Like I think if I found like the right venue and even just like the right people to perform with, then I'd be totally willing to do it all again. But right now, like where I'm going to college, it's just like really hard to find places to play like solo, and it's hard to find people to play music with. So yeah, it's been a little challenging, but yeah, I'm definitely willing to do it again. So.
Perfect. And what was the first album you ever bought?
Oh man, it's probably All Killer No Filler by Sum 41. That seems
Nice
about
choice.
right. I don't know, maybe it was something else, but that's probably along the lines of what it was.
Nowadays, that album is a shelf warmer at thrift stores, but it was great in its time, and I love Sum 41. They have a new one coming out just a couple weeks from now, actually, and we'll be talking about that later on in the episode.
Cool.
But so, what was your favorite concert to attend / your least favorite? So this is people that you've seen, not you performing.
Let me think. Like the best concert, it might have been either like my first one or the Slayer show I went to with you.
Oh,
that was
a good one.
really good. Yeah, I think my first concert, it was like Chelsea Grin and Oceano, and it was upstairs at the Palladium, and I was like right next to the speakers like I always am. Tinnitus is a thing now. And so yeah, like I loved that show. It was like the first time I was ever like introduced to like the deathcore scene, and that was like a thing that like I went to a show like once or twice every month for like a year. And so that was like the beginning of it, so that show just kind of means a lot to me. But yeah, that Slayer show I went to was really really good.
That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic fantastic show.
I saw them twice after that, and then I think I'm
seen
seeing
once
them.
After that.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing them again in November. Yeah, I mean it's their final tour. You gotta do it.
So what about your least favorite then?
This is probably a show I just kind of had to. I have two that I kind of.
Yeah.
One of them was the most recent one. It was I was with my friend. I wasn't really into the band at all, and I just kind of drove her there. And I was like, I think it was like the water parks. They were pretty good. They weren't like terrible, but I was just kind of like standing in the back with the parents. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't really bad, but I just kind of got bored because I was just kind of, just standing there.
Yeah. So you were that parent whose kid dragged them there. But like you're just kind of chilling in the back.
Yeah.
You had to drive them there.
Like parents looked really confused because I was like the same age as like everybody in the crowd, and I was like, I just drove here. And then the next one I think is probably I went to go see Einstein Kills with a friend, and there were other bands that were playing. The one good thing is I found Sirens and Sailors at that concert. They were really good, but once Einstein Kills went on and like a few of the other bands, I didn't really like the people in the crowd that much, unfortunately. And also I just kind of felt like I was like detracting from everybody's experience. So like by the end I was just kind of like in the back again, just like kind of staring.
So what was your favorite venue to play during the time that you were performing?
I don't know. I got to play at Johnny D's like right before it closed, and that was pretty cool. I kind of wish I played with like a band instead of doing. I was like doing like my original work, and it's not very good, at least in my opinion. So I was kind of hoping I could like play with a band there. But after that, the Real School Music found the Burn in Somerville. Oh, I love that place so much. So
I've played there myself.
Yeah,
I like that.
I love it. It's just like a really good vibe, and it's really cool.
So I know you did have original songs. Is there any chance that you'd ever want to like record those and release them in some form or another?
A few of them I have recorded. Like most of these were written in like middle school.
Yeah.
They're not good at all. My favorite song that I've ever written was my Christmas song. That's the only one I like actually was like, okay, this is like halfway decent because it's a Christmas song. It's hard to mess up.
Yeah.
So but the other stuff that I've like kind of, it's obviously co-written. It was just like like the Real Jams, like summer music camp stuff. It's just like they throw you in a room with people that you might know, you might not know, and then they expect you to write 3 songs and record them by the end of 2 weeks. And so yeah, like most recently I had to do like lyrics and like melodies and stuff for the like last summer. So that's like the most recent work. I really just need to work on lyrics. I think melody wise I'm like okay with it. Even just like figuring out chord progressions and stuff like that, but I'm just so picky about lyrics and I know they aren't good. So so it's really difficult to get me to start writing things again. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so thank you very much for answering the questions. So right now we're going to throw it back to me in a little bit to do a band spotlight on a band called Owl City. So let's watch that, and then as soon as we come back, we'll be playing a quick game with Elizabeth before we wrap up the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another iteration of Band Spotlight. Today's iteration, Owl City. Now, Owl City was started by Adam Young in 2007 in Owatonna, Minnesota. I don't know how to say that name. He started by self-releasing 2 albums called Maybe I'm Dreaming and Of June on his MySpace page before garnering attention from a record label after the song started building quite an audience. Since then, he has released 5 more albums, each one being varied in success, with the biggest one being his label debut, Ocean Eyes, which contained the smash hit Fireflies and the also popular Vanilla Twilight. The other albums had a couple of big hits, including Good Time featuring Carly Rae Jepsen and When Can I See You Again from the movie Wreck-It Ralph. This one, it's a one-person electronics pop punk band, and it's definitely a sure listen, even if it's just like for calming reasons, because honestly, his soothing music and like just bubbly, poppy lyrics are honestly they're just great. And his talent to do so much on his own should absolutely be applauded, and I love the fact that it is just one person doing all of this. So if you want to learn more about Owl City, we'll have a link down in the description to all of his things, or you can find it on the More Information tab on the James' House of Rock website, which is james'shouseofrock.weebly.com. I do suggest, I do love Ocean Eyes, but my favorite album from him is the Midsummer Station, because it includes a song called Dimension that features Mark Hoppus from Blink-182, and how could you go wrong with that? So I'm going to throw it back to myself and Elizabeth, and we're going to play a quick game. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Album Review Corner. Today we'll be talking about my early thoughts and predictions for the new Sum 41 album, Order and Decline, which, if I'm right, should be out or almost out by the time this episode airs. And so far, they've released, I think, 4 or 5 singles for it. And so far, I definitely think that it looks better and sounds better than 13 Voices, their last album. So I actually pledged money on Pledge Music to 13 Voices, the last album. And it wasn't that I was disappointed. I just felt like it wasn't... It felt a little weird. And I honestly think this new album feels like it's going to be a much better experience. I do like the slower ballad... Never There, and the first single that they released, Out for Blood. And I think the sound that they're going for on this album is definitely going to serve them well, because it's more of a mix of their old pop punk style with that metal sounding style that they were trying to go for with Screaming Bloody Murder and 13 Voices. And I think it'll just be a strong album altogether, and I'm really excited to see how it ends up. I was really disappointed that I didn't get to see them at Disrupt Fest. I went to one of the only locations that they weren't playing. But I am hoping to see them live again in tour of this album if I do enjoy it. But I will probably cover my final thoughts as soon as the album comes out on a later episode of Album Review Corner. So if you want to keep watch for that, you can. And as I always reiterate, if you want to learn more about Sum 41 or Order and Decline, or if you want to take a listen to the singles yourself, it will be in the links in the description, or it'll be on the More Information tab on the James' House of Rock website, james'shouseofrock.weebly.com. So right now, I'm going to throw it back to me and Elizabeth, and she's going to give you a quick closeout recommendation before we wrap up the show. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll be back with another album review on the next episode. All right, everybody. So right after that band spotlight, we have a wonderful game to play here that'll be a running thing over the course of this season. So Elizabeth here has to spin the copy right now of plus 44 is when your heart stops beating. So we're going to see, she has 3 chances to spin it like a quarter or a spinning top, and I'm going to time her and see how long, or find her longest time that she can get it spinning, and then we'll have our guests throughout the weeks try again and see if they can beat each other's scores. So I suppose if you want to get ready, I will hit. All right, so I'm hitting start now. All right, we got. That was like 3 seconds. So, all right, chance number 2.
Oh, this is
Go.
so difficult.
About 4 seconds. Getting there. All right, one more chance, and go. That was a decent one, but unfortunately only like 2
Dang
seconds.
it.
So it seems like your longest was about 4 seconds.
Okay.
So you are obviously the first contestant. So right now you're in the lead.
Yeah!
But we're gonna have some other people. We're gonna have some other people try this out throughout the season. I hope you had fun playing this
Fun.
ridiculous game that I thought up. So right now, guys, we're gonna spin back to me to go to our album review corner, where I'm going to say my early predictions for the new Sum 41 album, Order and Decline, which will probably be out by the time this episode airs. So we're gonna see that, and then we'll come on back to us, and we'll wrap up the show. All right. And then, did you want to do a closeout recommendation?
Ooh,
You can think about it for a second.
I need to think about it.
That was fun, though. It was ridiculous, but I loved it.
Oh man.
It can be a music video, it can be a band, it can be a specific song, a specific album.
Ooh. I know I have something, probably something. Maybe you should just do it. I have no idea. Just trying to think of what genre of music.
I was going to say it could be anything, I don't really care. It's called James' House of Rock, but it's more
Alright.
along the lines of
I'll
James'
just
House
say
of Music at this
check
point.
out Leviathan by Mastodon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to start on me here, and then we'll go to Elizabeth's camera. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoy that album when it comes out, and we'll see if I'm right with the rest of the album. But to close off the show today, Elizabeth here is going to give us a recommendation of a song to check out to leave you guys with. So if you want to take it away.
Mastodon's album Leviathan is very good. You guys should check it out.
All right. Well, that wraps up our show. And thank you very much, Elizabeth, for coming on, playing our ridiculous games, and answering a couple questions for us. And if you guys want to see any more information about anything we've said here in the episode, all of the links will be either in the description below or on our More Information tab on our website, which should be live right now. I know it still looks the same as it was, but it should be getting a complete rebranding soon. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next episode of James's House of Rock.